Commission hearing of March 1st, 2018. The first item is on a joint petition by MCAF Winthrop LLC and the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the granting of an earth retention license for the installation of a temporary earth support system within the following public ways in Boston proper. Devonshire Street on its easterly side at address number 240, generally at Winthrop Square and Otis Street. Federal Street on its westerly side, generally north of Federal Court and Matthews Street. This was new business on February 15th, 2018, and this is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Temporary Earth Retention Plan, Winthrop Square Tower, Boston, one sheet dated January 2018. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen McNeil, and I represent MCAF Winthrop. There is representation here from BPTA as our co-petitioner. The work that we are requesting on Federal Street in Devonshire, although I show you a picture of the anticipated new building, I want to be clear that this work is not related to that new building. This work is related to the demolition of the existing parking garage. And in order to complete that demolition, we're at a stage where we now need to remove the existing perimeter foundation walls. And we're therefore requesting the ability to do that by putting earth retention in Federal Street and Devonshire Street. We understand and we have solicited video taping of the Boston Water and Sewer lines. As soon as we can get a street opening permit, we're ready to do that work. We also have Haley and Aldridge here today, Demon Siebert, who will be helping us set up the monitoring, basically vibration monitoring, for the water and sewer lines between the work that we're doing and the lines that are in the streets abutting us.
Wonderful. Thank you. You can submit that to myself.
Yes.
And the TMP and CMP work that has been coordinated?
Yep, I've been working with Roy from Suffolk, and we've got a pretty comprehensive construction management plan and game plan going forward, so we're in good shape.
Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion on a joint petition by MCAF Winthrop LLC and the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the granting of an earth retention license as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Temporary Earth Retention Plan, Winthrop Square Tower, Boston, one sheet dated January 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is on a petition by ATG Colonial LLC for the granting of a projection license for the installation of a canopy over a portion of the sidewalk within Boylston Street, Boston proper. On its southerly side at address number 106, generally between Tremont Street and Boylston Place. This was new business on February 15th, 2018. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, License Plan, Emerson Colonial Theater, 106 Boylston Street, Boston, 6 sheets dated February 8th, 2018. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the Commission. My name is Jeff Gaddam. I'm from Leggett McCall Properties. We are the project manager for Ambassador Theater Group, who is the tenant who is installing this canopy. It is essentially the same canopy that we described last time in our new business hearing. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask. We have tweaked the signage design a little bit according to requests by the BPDA, which are not incorporated in this because this is a previous iteration, but it's a very subtle difference. I did want to speak to, though, the question that came up last time about the nature of the digital signage. It has 4 digital components, and I know there were some concerns about the dynamic nature of that. It has 4 digital components. The 2 side pieces, the intention is to run video of the performances, so that would be slow-moving video. These are play performances, dancing, things like that, very similar to what you see on Washington Street. On the front, it would be images that slowly fade in and out, and a scroll that would be slow enough for you to read letters and sentences. And then above the canopy, you can see where it says Matilda there. These are these glass digital panels that we described last time, and they would be large graphic images. There's a less level of resolution on that panel, and so these are large graphic images that would slowly fade and change over time.
Have you confirmed that this is in fact within the district?
District, yes.
It's in the district.
Are there any of the BPDA design changes that you want to touch on, or any of the BPDA suggested design changes that you would?
Sure, I can describe them too. The BPDA has asked us to take that front sign panel And it is right now proud of the frame. They have asked us to push that up against and engage it to the frame, and then take the two side panels and lift them up in such a way that you can see more of the canopy as an architectural element. In doing so, the panels on the side have actually gotten smaller. So the digital panels on the canopy itself are some of the smallest in the district.
Other questions or comments on the projection license? Demi or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by ATG Colonial LLC for the granting of a projection license in Boylston Street as read into the record by the chair and shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, License Plan, Emerson Colonial Theater, 106 Boylston Street, Boston, 6 sheets dated February 8th, 2018.
All in favor? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next item is on a joint petition by OHNVH Owner LLC and the Massachusetts Port Authority for the discontinuance of any and all rights to travel the public may have had within a portion of C Street, a public way in South Boston, located generally beneath the intersection of Summer Street and World Trade Center Avenue. This was new business on February 15th, 2018. And this is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Discontinuance Plan, C Street, South Boston, one sheet dated January 2nd, 2018.
Members of the Commission, my name is Rebecca Lee. I'm with the law firm of Mintz-Levin, and I represent the development team for this matter. To my left is Dante Angelucci, and Executive Vice President of the Davis Companies, one of the two members of the joint venture that will develop this 1,054-room hotel on parcel D2, owned by Massport in the Seaport District. And to my left is John Cusack from Bryant Engineering, one of the civil engineers for this project, and also Margaret Schiff from Elkus Manfredi, the architects for the project. This project is before you in the first of two sets of PIC petitions. This set is for some, what I call the early start work. It involves the investigation of some water lines, the relocation of a water line with the consent of the BWSC, and some earth retention work having to do with early excavation enabling work. And I'll let Dante Angelucci, the project executive, describe it to you in more detail.
Good morning. Rebecca said, my name is Dante Angelucci. I'm Executive VP with the Davis Companies. The project, as you are probably well aware at this point, is 1,054 rooms, roughly 870,000 square feet. We are, again, pursuing some early enabling work for the project to advance some of our investigative work to better inform us on the project as we move forward. So we're obviously here to provide any answers and questions you might have and respond to those appropriately. So I won't take any more of your time. I think you know the project. If there's any specific questions, I'm happy to provide more background.
Interested in Mass Convention Center. Obviously, this is a access into their executive garage area, et cetera. What impacts are going to be from this project? We're working closely with them. So right now we're in collaboration with them, working with them on a regular basis. So we've already sent them, for instance, this particular investigative work we're doing. I already sent them a plan showing what we'd be doing in New Fargo Street in terms of stopping, blocking off the road to scope the pipe. We already sent them that plan, and they have commented on it and got back to us. So we're working collectively with them to make sure that there's no impact to the operation. But in the future, as far as access egress from their building to the Hall Road?
Yes.
They obviously utilize that area heavily during some of the shows, specifically the auto show, RV show.
Absolutely. We've shared with them the CMP plan. We've talked to them about the traffic down there. Actually, in collaboration with them, we've actually maintained the slip ramp through our garage, through the lower level of our building. So we maintained that. That was something they had concern with. We actually redesigned our structural elements and did a transfer beam up on the second floor to accommodate that, so we could maintain that for them.
So the first petition before the commissioners is a discontinuance of former C Street. The discontinuance area is a somewhat orphaned area. The rest of former C Street had already been discontinued in connection with the Central Artery project. In looking at this project and what our lease premises were going to be, we discovered that directly adjacent to it was a portion of the C Street in which the city had still maintained easement rights. Apparently, at some notion, there had been some thought of mass transit buses passing through this area. That is no longer the case. And so while we had come in for a smaller discontinuance, we were asked by PIC to do the complete discontinuance of this 8,000-plus square foot area. No portion of the building is going to be built in this discontinuance area. It will simply still be part of the Massport Service Road system. So we have this petition before you. We do, however, have a request from Massport to postpone for 2 weeks action on this items until they do some further of this discontinuance. So we are absolutely, also asking of that as the co-petitioner. And so we ask that the commissioners hear this matter, but defer action until March 15th.
Amy, who has fee ownership of the trail? Do we enjoy any?
We enjoy nothing about this. It
Oh,
is
fine.
a city
So
street.
maybe
It's an orphaned portion of a city street, and we're taking away our easement rights so that it can remain a Massport Service Road. So
But
it's a
maybe-
road today, it'll be a road tomorrow, just Massport Road.
Is there any compensation that is due to the city per our
No.
current policies because we enjoy the easement through here?
We only take money if we are removing something from the public to become private property, and this is just changing from a city street to a Massport street, so no money.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions? Before entertaining the motion to continue for 2 weeks.
So I'm just, Rebecca, you made a statement about mass transit not, basically not utilizing this. That was part of the master plan when the convention center went in, to provide bus service in there. And I know at the time Jim Folk, who was at the T, was against it, and then he got over the convention center, he's for it. So just trying to figure out if there is in fact that statement that it isn't going to happen.
Well, so right now, there is, I would say, an informal arrangement between Massport, who owns north of the center line of Summer Street and also owns that portion of C Street, and the MCCA. So MCCA buses and trucks regularly, when they need to access the Hall Road, access Massport property. And at this point, there's no formal relationship. It may be that within the context of this project, there is that right, because this project will need to use MCCA roads to get into the former C Street. So I think you will see that that's memorialized, and in effect, it will be a private service road used by both authorities.
Okay.
There's a question I wonder if we do now on the 15th, whether it's worth it to have a quick conversation with the MCCA or for the MCCA to give something to the city of support. Just that'd be great.
So
Sorry,
that
Mike.
little piece of water main that we have in the discontinuance area, does that easement get transferred from, City of Boston to Massport then?
Well, the conversations that we had with Amy and also with Massport is that the city's discontinuance is going to be subject to the existing grants of location in that discontinued area. So it's subject. Yeah, they just follow. So your legal rights remain the same. There are rights in that street today of BWSC and Eversource, and after this discontinuance action is taken, there's no change in
You'll have all
that
the same
status.
rights, it'll just be in a Massport street, and you'll have to notify Massport.
Yes, different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions on the discontinuance? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, you've requested a continuation of discontinuance for 2 weeks till the 15th?
Yes,
All right,
please.
I'll entertain a motion then on that.
I'll make a motion to continue item number 3 on today's agenda for 2 weeks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
The second item before the commission is a petition for specific repairs consisting of the installation of new groundwater recharge wells within the Summer Street right-of-way. On this matter, there's been much discussion about these groundwater recharge wells, and as I mentioned, this is the first of 2 sets of petitions that will come before you. The second set will come probably, I would say, in about 2 months as design of the project is advanced, and it may well be that we may be back to you for changes in these groundwater well locations.
So are you looking for
An approval today for as
So we
proposed.
basically, when we do the specific repairs, if it makes sense, like if this is riding a line between brick and cement concrete, they might slide laterally, but that's about
Amy,
it.
did Zach Bosman and Eddie, did you all get a chance to meet? My notes say that
Right, so we are meeting, but regarding the larger Summerscape redesign, not necessarily the recharge wells.
That hasn't been scheduled then, right?
has or has not.
Has not yet, follow-up.
Well, there was a meeting about the Summer
Prior.
Street
Right.
sidewalk. And there's more meetings to follow. What it's going to look like and what's going to be sidewalk and what's
So
going to
at
be
the
right
end
of
of the
way
day, sir, you are the
hasn't
one
been.
who's going to spend the money, and we just want to be very sensitive into you not wasting your money. But with the understanding that Summer Street may need another look or a flavor, as long as you can be understanding to bringing these two efforts together. Hopefully we won't waste your money. But if it needs to be redone, I'm going to assume you will be agreeable to all of that.
Yeah, we're contemplating doing some of the work at this point anyway. So again, we're going to work collaboratively with the city and figure out the best outcome for all in terms of timing and when that work gets done.
Thank you so much.
So would the change in location of the recharge wells be driven by, BWSC site plan comments or the overall corridor alignment of Summer Street?
It
Or
could
both?
be, it could be
Could
both.
be both, right?
Other questions or comments on the recharge wells or the specific repair plan? Name your Todd. Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on the specific repair plan.
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by OH and BH Owner LLC and the Massachusetts Port Authority for the making of specific repairs within Summer Street, as read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, specific repair plan for recharge wells, C Street, Summer Street, and D Street, South Boston, one sheet dated January 3rd, 2018. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our next item is on a petition by OH and BH Owner LLC and the Massachusetts Port Authority for the granting of an earth retention license for the installation of a temporary earth support system within Summer Street, South Boston, on its northeasterly side at address number 450 between D Street and World Trade Center Avenue. This was new business on February 15th, 2018. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Conceptual Temporary Excavation Support Plan, 450 Summer Street, South Boston, 6 sheets dated January 2018.
Good morning, my name is Jonathan Patchen with McPhail Associates for the geotechnical engineer on the project. The temporary excavation support that we propose is driven steel soldier piles with wood lagging. The need for it is to retain the approximate 20-foot plus difference in grade between the Summer Street side of the site and the lower Hall Road side of the site. The excavation support system is going to require one level of tiebacks along pretty much the entire length of Summer Street, except where there's the existing tunnel that crosses. The tiebacks are needed just to restrain that 20 feet is too much to cantilever. We currently show on the plan a 4-foot spacing for the tiebacks. We realize that is a lot. We've done some further analysis. We think in actuality it's going to probably be about 4 feet, probably on the World Trade Center side, and then as we go toward the D Street side, I think they may end up being 6 or 8 feet on center. So in reality, there will be a lot less, but we need the contractor to do their own design and confirm that. So in reality, it looks like a lot, but it'll probably be a lot less. Can I answer any questions?
Maybe the sidewalk is going to be taken out, right? And what I don't remember is how much pedestrian traffic is on this sidewalk on the north side. At least on the hardly any, right? But for ADA purposes,
So, as far as the construction management plan relates to the earth retention, it's still being negotiated. And we're looking at ways, and one of the issues was the support of excavation and what really needed to transpire. I think we've got a good base plan now, and now we can put together the CMP to see if we're going to maintain some semblance of pedestrian access.
But you do have 2 stoplights at the 2 ends, right?
Yep.
There are 2 traffic signals on both ends?
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Okay, so you can.
So if we had a direct traffic
you
across the
can
street, there's,
safely take them
and there's
back.
plenty of capacity on the south side of the street because that sidewalk really doesn't get used at all. It's a blank wall with the speed ramp for the Weston. There's not any retail or anything on that side of the street at all.
But, the concern is the major shows that a lot of people come from the World Trade Center MBTA stop, utilize the sidewalks in that area, along Summer Street. So that's one of the concerns.
Sure.
And for the benefit of the public hearing, you've heard it before, but the extensive nature of the tiebacks have potential to impact BWSC assets, so it is critical to have pre- and post-CCTV inspection of the sewers in this area to confirm that no tiebacks are going through the sewers and there's vibration monitoring in the water mains, especially since I'm assuming the new water main is going to go in first so that you can do this excavation and supportive excavation. So
Correct.
we want to make sure that we don't have excessive vibration on that brand new water main.
Understood.
And that all that information can be submitted to me.
Absolutely.
Other questions or comments on the earth retention plan? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve joint petition for. Let me start again. I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by OHMBH Owner LLC and Massachusetts Port Authority for the granting of an earth retention license in Summer Street, as read into the record by the chair, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Conceptual Temporary Excavation Support Plan, 450 Summer Street, South Boston, 6 sheets dated January 2018.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Our next item is on a petition by 2451 Washington LLC for the acceptance of pedestrian easements adjacent to the following public ways in Roxbury. Washington Street on its northwesterly side at address number 2451, southwest of Guild Row, and Guild Row on its westerly side north of Washington Street. This was new business on February 15th, 2018. This is as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Pedestrian Easement Plan, 2451 Washington Street, Guild Row, Roxbury, Boston, one sheet, dated January 24th, 2018. Good morning.
Morning. Wendy Carter with Madison Park Development Corporation. We're the sole member of 2451 Washington Street LLC. With me today is Belinda Lucinskis, construction consultant, and Jeff Pilat from Samiotis Civil Engineers. We're here requesting acceptance of pedestrian easements and specific repairs related to the construction of 16 mixed-income condos. Since last time, there have been a few minor revisions that have been resubmitted, and I just wanted to point out that the dates on the plans, the date for the easement plan is 2/22/18, and that shows a reduction of the easement to 2 portions totaling 16 square feet. And also the specific repairs plan is dated 2/23/18, and that has some minor adjustments related to street lighting. Are there any questions on the updated plans or remaining questions from last time?
So since this is the public hearing, if you could very briefly give an overview of the project, so that way any vote taken by the commission can be understood in the context of your project.
The repairs proposed for the project include the closing of 1 curb cut, the relocation of 1 curb cut, the relocation of 3 streetlights, installation of a new planting strip with new street trees. And at the request of the city, we are expanding the sidewalk into the street. And there are a few minor utility adjustments that are occurring as well. We have been working with Boston Water and Sewer, and they had approved the previous set of plans, and we'll continue to work with them. And this work will create a much improved pedestrian path. Right now, it's not an accessible sidewalk, and so this work will create a fully accessible sidewalk.
If you could also add a couple of sentences as to what your project is.
Okay. So the project is 16 mixed-income condos. It's a new construction, 4-story building with a small patio area in the back. And we're also completing some work in the adjacent Kenilworth property, which is an apartment building that is co-owned by Madison Park. We're doing a realignment of the parking spaces so that the entryway to the parking for the condos can be through that parking lot area. The condos have 16 parking spots. 14 of them are in a ground floor enclosed garage that's screened, and then 2 of them are surface parking. We also have a loading zone, and we're planning to share a trash area with the adjacent Kenilworth property.
And so the first item of the pedestrian easement will allow us to create the accessible sidewalk that you spoke of, is that right?
The pedestrian easement?
Yes.
There were just a couple of pinch points, these are really minor, just to get us the full sidewalk.
And Sarah, Commissioner McCosh's team, Sarah.
Yes.
So you indicate relocating a tree, is that in fact what you're doing? Relocating the tree, not a new one?
If it's alive, we spoke to Jill about that, and if it's not healthy, we will replace it.
Okay.
It's a questionable tree.
They've been to the parks.
Yeah, okay.
Guild Road.
I'd like to commend the project team for working with us to include some simple green infrastructure elements such as the pervious bricks in the planting furnishing zone. I think it's an example for other petitions that might come forward in the future on simple, easy ways to achieve green infrastructure in the sidewalk and promote more water getting to the tree roots and healthier street trees. So I'd like to thank you for working with us, and I hope it's successful.
Thank you.
Are there questions or comments on the pedestrian easement? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion on the pedestrian easement.
I'll make a motion to approve petition by 2451 Washington Street LLC, the acceptance of the pedestrian easement adjacent to the following public ways is read into the record by the chair, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, pedestrian easement plans, 2541 Washington Street, Guild Row, Roxbury, Boston, one sheet dated January 24th, 2018.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our next item is also on a petition by 2451 Washington LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Roxbury, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lights, street trees, utility infrastructure, and driveway curb cuts. This was new business on February 15th, 2018. The locations are Washington Street on its northwesterly side at address number 2451, southwest of Guild Row, and Guild Row on its westerly side, north of Washington Street. This is as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 2451 Washington Street, Guild Row, Roxbury, Boston, 3 sheets, dated February 9th, 2018. Sort of the updated plans are now dated February 23rd?
23rd.
23rd.
And on the pedestrian easement, the plans were dated February 22nd.
Right, so for the specific repair plan, it's February 23rd. If you can quickly walk us through the specific repairs.
We are relocating one tree and providing 3 new trees. The existing light pole with signs is to be relocated as well. Providing a new curb out on Guild Row and relocating one of the existing catch basins. We'll go back to Phosphor Sewer for that approval. We are relocating one of the existing light poles as well. Providing that pervious paver strip along the Washington Street and Guild Road, and a new transition ramp for the crosswalk.
As we sort of talked about briefly afterwards, after the new business, if this driveway exit for cars that are looking to take a left heading towards W Square, sort of, after this gets built, if that sort of poses some challenges, I'd love you to work with BTD to figure out if there are things we may be able to do to address that. Hopefully that will not be an issue. Other questions or comments on the specific repair plan?
Can I make a clarification about the maintenance as relates to the license?
Yep.
There was a question last time regarding the long-term maintenance of the curb cut.
Yep.
And so I just want to clarify, so during construction, the developer, Madison Park, or 2451 Washington, will assume maintenance and responsibility for all of the improvements. After completion, our intent is to transfer the maintenance for the curb cut, the Kenilworth Schoolhouse property, since it will actually be on their land, and for the pedestrian easement, transfer it to the to-be-formed condo association. But those are our only plans right now. That's our understanding of the maintenance, ongoing long-term maintenance.
So the easement will transfer with whomever owns the building, that's just you, the property granting us the additional rights. If you need specific language regarding the driveway being somebody else other than the other maintenance obligations, John can do that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Other questions or comments?
Just on the construction management plan, has that been developed yet?
Yes, and part of our supporting documents last Friday, we submitted in our package a construction maintenance plan, and it has recommendations. We do have a McPhail report to take some of the sidewalk during the construction of the foundation, being it close to the property line.
Who haven't submitted that to?
It was submitted with our packet of information.
That's it. You just want to give me a copy.
Oh, surely. Yeah.
Right, not a big deal.
Okay, I could give you a half-size copy now if you want. Okay.
Other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by 2451 Washington LLC for the making of specific repairs in Washington Street and Guild Row, as read into the record by the chair. And as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, 2451 Washington Street, Guild Row, Roxbury, Boston. 3 sheets dated February 9th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you so much. Our first item is 500 Boylston Street, Berkeley Street, Clarendon Street, St. James Avenue, and Boston proper. Pedestrian easements and specific repairs on a set of petitions by 500 Boylston and 222 Berkeley owner DEL LLC.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Matt Haverty. I'm with Oxford Property Group as the vice president. We purchased these properties, just as a background to this, we purchased these properties, both buildings, back in 2015. Just to give you a little bit of what we do, we're a long-term owner. We view having these properties for many years. We're not just coming in for a short fix. As soon as we acquired these properties, we noticed that there's a pretty deficiency in the sidewalks around the entire city block that we occupy. So we identified this project at the start as something we really wanted to put some capital funds into. The previous owner had been using concrete patches and Band-Aids throughout the property, and it really created a bad aesthetic as well as just generally not a monolithic type look. So understanding there was a large project, we wanted to make sure that we put a lot of funds in it for accessibility, for drainage, as well as the aesthetic, replacing dead trees and those things. So we appreciate your consideration on this, but we hope it's a project that'll better both our property and the city as a whole. Turn it over to John.
Good morning. John Schmidt with Ditch Engineering. So again, it's the entire block. It's Clarendon Street. Clarendon Street from St. James to Boylston. Boylston Street from Clarendon to Berkeley. Berkeley from Boylston to St. James. And again, St. James from Berkeley to Clarendon. As indicated, the existing sidewalk out there is granite. It's broken over time. Much of it is not compliant in regards to cross slopes. So essentially, we're going to take it and reconstruct all the sidewalks. We're adjusting curb where we need to. Some of the curb is to remain. But we're going to provide a minimum 5-foot wide concrete pathway of travel, except at the areas where the main entrances are. And then we'll have a pervious concrete along the sidewalk to allow infiltration and irrigation. And then we'll have granite pavers along the building frontage from here to the concrete path of travel. This project is gone through numerous reviews from the BPDA, Disabilities Commission, and we, as I understand it, has agreed to the design that we are proposing. We also reconstructed the wheelchair ramps that are all compliant. The trees will be removed and replaced. We've had a public tree hearing removal. We have approval to remove the public trees. These trees will remain, but they actually presently fall within private property. In doing so, we also have a petition before you for a pedestrian easement, which is required on St. James, as well as on Clarendon. And this is to ensure a minimum 5-foot wide, safe, and clear path of travel for pedestrians. CMP, I believe, has been submitted and is under review with the Public Works Department. Pardon me? I believe it's showing that submitted to Municipal Works in the process of being reviewed.
I believe, I think Gilbane at one point had maybe provided you with a draft copy, but maybe not, so we'll make sure that we have that.
Okay, we'll make sure you have it for the public hearing.
You just did this, but if you can just sort of quickly walk us again around, sort of starting with St. James, both the easement components and then what the repair plan is. Thank you.
St. James will have a 5-foot wide easement from Clarence Street to Berkeley Street, and this is the path of travel. And it's completely a concrete path of travel. Everyone has to go. Where we said we have curved pavers, granite pavers, curved pavers, concrete, and we have driveways, which is delineated with a different paving pattern to ensure the pedestrian experience can see the change, is aware that this is the driveway.
So the easement will basically allow, the concrete path of travel will largely be entirely within the easement, and that allows.
It runs from one end to the other, entire, minimum 5 feet in area, it's a little bit wider. On Berkeley Street, we have a concrete path, we do not need easements, we have a concrete path of travel entrance to 222 Berkeley Street, where we have a granite paver to introduce the project to display the entrance. And we have a concrete path of travel to the intersection at Boylston Street. We have granite pavers in the front zone. We have pervious pavers where we have tree plantings. On Boylston Street, we have a concrete path of travel. This point will be the entrance to 222 Berkeley Street. Concrete path of travel. We have the main entrance, the large entrance to 500 Boylston Street, and a concrete path of travel to the intersection. We have a dozen street trees here between the concrete path of travel and the curb line, and we have pervious pavers that will allow filtration. And then between the concrete path of travel and the building, we have granite pavers that will infill and tie into the interior of the project. On Clarence Street, we have a pedestrian easement as well. That easement is about 13 feet wide. That runs from St. James to Boylston Street. And this will allow minimally 7-foot clearance of 7-foot clearance of path of travel. These existing tree islands have a 6-inch raised curve, so they're elevated a little bit. But we have a minimum 7.4 foot clearance behind the tree pits and the materials fall to this area for concrete.
John, on Boylston Street, you don't have a pedestrian easement, right?
No, we don't. Nor do we need one.
And I know you said this, but both BPDA and the Commission for the Persons with Disabilities are both comfortable with the sort of non-concrete portions.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Smith and the proponent for all of the reviews and the communication that we had. We are super excited about the pedestrian perpendicular ramps and all the compromises and adjustments that this project has made. And we are in full support of this project. Thank you.
The one thing that's not noted here is the notion of reciprocal ramps, and we have kind of discussed this with the Disabilities Commission about what ramps should be a portion of this, and we're stopped at the notion that the ones across from Boylston are in a landmark. So John and I are going to work with the Landmarks Commission to get that approved to satisfy all of our reciprocal ramp requirements.
total areas are Boylston and Clarendon, Boylston and
Right, so rather than just taking this everywhere, we're gonna fix the intersections that are most important to us.
We're building over here and over here, and again, down here, down here.
Again, appreciation, sir, to you and your team for the understandings which you have conveyed to your leadership for taking a project of this nature and doing what needs to be done, because it's a lovely block, and appreciate you doing what you all are doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate all the cooperation. It's been great.
So on the traffic signal equipment, has that been looked at? Have you gone over that with Don Burgess?
We have not. We do not intend to keep the traffic signals where they are.
Understood, but when you put in ramps, sometimes they don't go where they are, where they're showing compromises on the signal equipment with the ramp.
All right, I'll share this with Don.
Definitely make sure that our traffic parking meters.
Yes, there was a traffic, I forwarded you yesterday, it was late, and I know you haven't seen it, but we have a signage meter plan for.
Good man. Yep. So one of my big questions when I take a look at this construction management plan is going to be, this is an active building, right? Many shops. As we do this work, I mean, we're going to be blocking off sidewalk, et cetera, access, egress. Have been over the NFPA 241 with fire?
Yep. So we've put that into consideration with Gilbane, and they did put up a draft CMP that I think we should make sure that gets put in front of you, but that has all those addressed inside that.
I would strongly suggest that concurrently go through Boston Fire Marshal's office with what you're proposing as we look at it. Because I'm going to defer some of that construction staging to them.
That makes sense.
Other questions or comments on the specific repair plan or the easements? Maybe your Todd? Members of the public? Does March 15th work for you as a time to come down? Yeah. All right, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item of new business is Field Sparrow Way in West Roxbury, a layout approval on a petition by OG West Campus Land LLC, parcel 2A-3.
Kevin Wright. I'm here with Eric Van Dusen from New Boston, who's representing the ownership for the Olmsted Green Project. The Olmsted Green Project is in Mattapan. We were here a few weeks ago for a few of our other streets. It's a mixed phase project, which includes components of housing for affordable, mixed income, and market rate housing on the West Campus, which is under construction right now, building out some phases of the first phase units of housing for home ownership. Today we're here before you for Field Sparrow Way as a result of talking with architects and trying to figure out if we could make something work in order to achieve addresses for the purposes of DND, ISD, BWSC. We've modified our layout that we last had for that and have put together a layout for Field Sparrow Way that would achieve it meeting the requirements of a private way open to public travel. We've mailed out the necessary notifications, emailed the necessary notifications. We've received responses from several entities, including RCN, Property Management, City of Boston Legal, Comcast, the MBTA, Veolia, ISD, and Disabilities. We're in coordination with BTD, BWSC, street lighting for elements related to other components on those main roadways that we were last here before you for. Field Sparrow Way is on the West Campus, as I said, and as you look to this map, this is West Main Street. Field Sparrow Way is located here, and it's tied to West Main, which will be a public way when it's fully constructed. And currently, this aerial is old, but when we get into the details of the plan, you'll see where we have two 10-foot parking lanes, two 10-foot travel lanes, 8-foot parking, and 5-foot sidewalks on both sides.
If you want to walk us around the great, nice.
So in the first sheet, this is West Main Street where Phillips Parkway intersects. We've got sidewalks on both sides. We've got 10-foot travel lanes, the parking elements that start here on this side and then go around the loop of Phillips Parkway. We have the minimum 40-foot requirement to start, and as we go out, we follow the back of the sidewalk. It widens out to about 47 feet all the way around. So this is sheet 1, showing that layout as we go down Phillips Parkway. As I said, we had a meeting with the Disabilities Commission earlier this week. We're talking about the ramps and the sidewalk materials, and we'll finalize that before the public hearing. So as we move around the loop, it's the same consistent 47 with, again, the two 5-foot sidewalks, 8-foot parking, 10-foot travel lanes. And as we come around the loop again to sheet 3, we narrow back down to 40 feet to tie into West Main Street, which we don't be in the public right away, public street in the future. So again, we have a consistency of sidewalks, travel lanes, and parking on all phases of all stretches of Phillips Parkway.
A couple of questions. Sometimes I get confused when projects are introduced of this nature where you say it is affordable housing and you say it is in Mattapan, but then the plan showed that the street you are speaking of is in West Roxbury. So which is it? Is Field Sparrow in West Roxbury or in Mattapan? How would you clarify this, Amy, or if you can sort it out?
Well, Mattapan's postal code.
Okay.
So
It's within the postal code of Mattapan. Postal code of Mattapan is partially within Dorchester and partially within West Roxbury. And this happens to be within West Roxbury.
Next question.
Yes.
The street lights that are to be installed here, does it conform to the rest of the street lights that are within your west side and east side campuses, or are they consistent with the area? That's my
They will be consistent with the area. Again, we've been pushing the street lighting department to...
You will work with them, not pushing, you will work with them
Yes,
to
yes.
get the necessary resolution?
Correct.
And the third thing, the utilities, Eversource electricity, are they above ground or below ground?
Underground.
So this whole, both the east and west campus, you recognize is to be a underground district. No overhead wires of any. Thank you, sir.
So on the plans that I'm looking at, Field Sparrow Way at West Main Street, you're showing a stop line and a stop sign. Did your traffic engineer do a warrant analysis for that?
There was analysis done a while back for the layout of that that warranted all the necessary signage. Again,
It has to meet those warrants in order to install the stop sign. So if you have any documentation on that, appreciate that being forward. Additionally, coming down Field Sparrow Way from West Main Street on the bend, obviously there can't be any parking on that bend. Is that coming up there, or is the other plan?
the other sheet 3.
Yep. Right in here.
Yeah, no problem.
Right, so it needs to be shown on the plan.
Okay.
Right?
It's signage.
Right. Street name signs, stop signs, all that stuff.
Okay.
Cool. Can I use my laser?
It's a bit of a follow-up Horace question, but perhaps for Amy's. things like conduit for future telecom connections.
So
conduit for street
for
lighting.
their West Main, we have the enhanced street lighting program going down it. It probably won't jog all the way around these little streets, but it cutting through in the major way will get us to everywhere we go.
Perfect, as long as we're not tearing your street up all over again.
Right. Yeah.
It's a private way.
Yeah. Oh, and that is.
Other people are going to think it's a public
Yeah.
street living in West Roxbury.
Or Mattapan.
Sorry.
Street name sign will say private way.
Interesting. How did these street names come about? Who picked these things?
Someone way smarter than me. Given our neighbor is the Boston
Right.
Nature Center,
That's
the
what I
Audubon,
was
I think way back 10 years ago when we formed all these thoughts, we decided to go with bird names.
Yeah, it's all bird names in the code.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments? Amy or Todd? Members of the public? All right, 2 weeks enough time? Cool. All right, see you on the 15th.
Great.
Until then. Our final item of new business is 99 Summer Street, Bedford Street in Boston proper, a projection license on a petition by 99 Summer owner LLC.
Good morning, I'm Pat Conley from Fields Associates. We are proposing, we're asking for a projection license for glass wave signs that we internally illuminated. The first one is the larger one on Summer Street. It's will project out 4 feet 5 inches, will be 14 feet 10 inches long, will be 16 and a half feet above the sidewalk.
It's just a blade sign, it's just
Correct, yeah. Second one is a smaller one, it's on Bedford Street.
So, could you be ever so kind and go to your third page? Go to the next page. See, there we go. Now we have a sense of where you are speaking about.
I was just looking for it.
Okay. So start from there and say, this is where you want the sign, and then you.
So this is Summer Street, this is the existing conditions. There's cloth banners there. This is the proposed condition, the very start of construction on the entryway, so we're here for this production license. Day, night. So the second one, or this is the sign itself, 4 feet 5 inches, 14 feet 10 inches.
Maybe do we allow these signs on Summer Street? Yep. We do. PPDA is okay with it?
This is Bedford Street. So this is existing conditions. They've removed this canopy here already. This is the sign here. Projects out 2 feet 9 inches, and it's 8 feet up and down. It's 14 feet above the sidewalk. Same kind of sign, glass internally illuminated.
Bedford Street. What happened to the coffee shop that was there? Olga's Cafe, the best one in the city. What happened?
See, the reason I'm asking about these are some of the oldest parts of Boston. The buildings are very old, and hopefully there are people outside this commission that are looking into the historic character of these buildings and the signage and everything that might be changing. So
These are a lot more aesthetically pleasing than the ones that they took down.
Okay.
Specifically approved with BPDA, but on both signs, even the one on Bedford's going to say 99 Summer on it.
Yes.
One of the only things we allow them to put is the address.
Is the address. There's sort of a wayfinding
Yeah.
BPDA. Yeah. Other questions or comments on the production license?
Coffee shop?
Bring it back.
It needs to stay
If you bring it back, we'll give them a sign too.
Amy or Todd? No. Members of the public? All right. March 15th work for you? 2 weeks work for you? Great. See you then.
Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Is that good enough?
So moved.